Morning everyone, and welcome to our birthday month. I'm so excited to be here sharing with you today the Meant to Be Scrapbooking Kit. I don't know how many of you know that I had a scrapbook shop way before Stampin' Up and have been scrapbooking for a long, many years. But love every page that I create, and I love helping people create their memories so they can pass it on from generation to generation. So I'm going to come down and share with you the kit and how to cut it, and then we'll do a part 2 on how to put the pages together, because otherwise it would take all day. Not really. The things that you need to add to this kit is your 2004-2006 markers. Also a paper trimmer. You will need a paper trimmer. Okay, and you also need some paper snips, and you'll need your instruction sheet. Okay, so let me share with you what's in the kit. Oh, a little tip, Post-it notes and a pen, because it's easy to write and put these on the back of each of your pieces as you cut them. So let's come down to my workbench. Let's hope I've got this focused pretty well today. Okay, so let's pull out our paper pack or our kit pack. Okay, so let me see what we've got in here. So the thing that I love is that they give you some photo placements, and I'll be using the photo placements in this kit today for the simple reason is I haven't got mine printed out yet. So this will keep the space nice and neat for me as I'm putting my pages together. Now, I love the instruction sheets. Let me just go through a little bit of some little tips for you to look out for when you're going through these. Okay, let's go to our front page. Where you see the little scissors at the top, you'll see little scissors at the top. That's where you're going to start your first cutting line, okay? And when you see an asterisk alongside, that means you're going to be using the reverse side of the paper. Now, it shows you a little picture of the front of the paper and the back of the paper so you know which one you're actually using for each project. And this is where I like to write down like 2D, 4 3/4 by 8, and put that on the back of the piece when I cut it out. Now, our top piece is our first cutting piece of paper. So I'm going to put that one over here. And then our second piece isn't this one. So I'm just going to stick this to the back for the moment, is this one. So I like to grab my sheet and put them in order. So that will be my second cutting sheet. You get 2 of each sheets, which is fantastic, so you can do each side. I'll pop this one underneath. And then if you flip it over, you will see, okay, you will see that we need the second piece of this. And then we're going to be using this one, which is the like a crosshatch, and the pink on the other side. And we're going to be using that one again. Okay, so we're getting them in order. Then we're going to be using this beautiful floral one, and it's plain on the back. And we're going to turn this over. And we're going to be using the floral one again. Okay, then we're going to be using the willow white cardstock. Okay, so that's what we're going to be placing it on. And also we have our pool party cardstock, which is the two-tone one, light and dark, which is beautiful. And we still have some scrapbooking paper here that we can use as well, which we'll be going through as we do it. Okay, so let's pop this bit aside for the moment and grab the sheets out that we've pulled out. Hi Joe, good to see you come on this morning. Are you a scrapbooker too as a card maker? I'm still learning about everyone. And I'm still learning about what everyone loves to do. Having a big break hasn't helped. Okay, so our paper trimmer is fantastic. I love it because you've got your centimetres and inches across the top. I've got my cutting one. I've got the centimetre and the inch one, but I've got it in the inch one today for the simple reason as the measurements are in inches. I love that you've got a right and a left side. I also like that you can just make sure you keep this little piece nice and clean so that your blade doesn't get caught up in that. It's also got an extension arm, so make sure that it's extended all the way through so that when you need to cut it extended, you've got it all the way through. And also our blades, you've got a score blade, which is our light grey, and we've also got a cutting blade. Now these cutting blades can be replaced. You just need to bring them down to here and it will pop out of your little image here. Get it into the right spot. And it will pop out. Now, what I do want to share with you is that our cutting blades have got a blade on both sides. So they've got a blade on the right side and the left side of that. It's a little triangle one. And then also you've got a little line here on your, a little marked line on either side of your cutting tool. This indicates the center of the blade. So you know where to put your blade when you're cutting. These need to be replaced every now and then, and that's when your paper starts really chewing up. You don't want that in there. I just wipe mine all down with a baby wipe. Make sure that you can see your measurements. Now, a little tip also, this comes out, okay, like this. And if you're using measurements, you can actually add a little piece of white cardstock into this side. So if you wanted to make your measurements so much more clearer to read, okay? Which is really handy, okay? And then you can just pop this back into the little catches, and this is where you can put your centimetre one as well, okay? So I usually keep a little piece there that if I'm using a dark piece, I can slide it in under where I want it. So it's always handy to have a little scrap piece there. So let's go back to our indication of our instructions here. Now don't forget, we'll just be cutting today and then we'll come back in another video and do the putting the pages together. Okay, so we want our bee paper first, and we're going to cut with the this way across. So we're going to cut at 8 inches across. So that's the first measurement it's telling us to cut at 8 inches. So line your paper trimmer. On your paper trimmer, line your paper up at the 8 inches. You'll need your arm out to do this, okay? And then you're going to come down and you're going to cut that piece off. Now, before I actually cut that piece, I'm going to move this piece across to 2 inches because we're going to be doing some 2 inches by 2 inches squares, okay? So make sure you line this up at 2 inch. Now remember I said you can use this for cards as well. So this piece is a leftover. So we're going to pop that over there. And we're going to turn this one around while we've got it on the paper trimmer. And we need to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to cut 5 of these. So 1, make sure you line it right up to the edge of your paper trimmer. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is a beautiful little kit for little girls, and I'm hoping to do this for my granddaughters or great granddaughters. Okay, so we've got 5 here, and then I'm just going to take some time out. You can write with pen on the back if you want to, but I prefer to do sticky note than pen. And I'm just going to put, this is going to be done on the reverse side because it's got a little asterisk alongside of it, a little asterisk. And so is our second one. Oh, they all have. So they're all going to be done on the reverse side. So I'm just going to put a little like that because I know then it's the reverse side. And we've got 1 eye on this one. And then we've got, put that little star up the top so we know it's the reverse side. And we've got 1 L. Okay, so that's that one. And then another little star up the top. And then we've got 1 T. And then another little star. We've got 1 M. This is going to help you and save some time, okay? I believe that it's easier if you've never done it before to just do these couple of simple things to start off with. So that's our first lot cut out with our, what the numbers are on the back. So we'll put that aside. Okay, we'll grab this piece back and we're going to swing it around and we're going to cut it at 4 3/4. So line up your paper trimmer 4 3/4, which is the biggest one. You got your 4 1/2, and then you've got another bigger one in between the little ones before the 5. You need to line, that's your 3/4. Okay, so we're going to cut that one off. So that's that piece, and we're going to write on the back on that one. That's 2D 4 3/4 by 8. So we've got that piece there. And then we're going to turn it around this way. And we're going to put this in to, we're going to leave it this way for a minute because we're going to line it up at 6 1/2. Now you've got your 6 and your half is just over on the part of your other ruler. Okay, your extension ruler. So you're going to cut it a little bit off the bottom. Put that over there. And we're going to line this up now to 4 inches. So we're going to cut that. And we're going to put 2J on this one. 2J. And you can write the measurements if you want to. So 4 inches by 6 1/2 inches. So that's going on that one. Okay, and then on this piece, we want a 4 inch by 4 inch. So this is 4 inch already. So we're going to turn it around and cut it at 4 inches. Okay, so that's really helpful. So we're going to put on this one 1Z. Z and 4 by 4. Now this is a asterisk. Oh, it's got a star on it as well. So we'll put that star on it so we know that we're using the reverse side of this. Okay, So that's for our first layout. So that's our first lot cut out for our first page. So I normally put them into a little folder or something if I'm cutting them out and say, okay, this is page 1. So I'll just drop my Post-it notes. Sorry about that. So page 1, or you can put them in big envelopes, whichever suits you. Okay, so now we're going to do page 2. And that's this beautiful floral and the lines. Now it's showing me the lines going this way across, okay, horizontal. So that's what I've got to be mindful of. It also shows me the little scissors that I'm going to cut it off at 4 inches first. And then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to cut 3 of them at 4 inches. So 1, and this one is the bottom piece and it's a hashtag on it, so it's going to be 1A, it's got the star, so it means the reverse side, 4 by 4. So that's our next piece. Then we've got another one that we're going to cut at 4 inches. And this piece is the right way around. So we're going to do this 1B, 4 by 4. Okay, and then our last piece is 4 as well, and it's already at that size. And that's going to be 1Y, 4 by 4. It might seem a little bit silly, all the numbers that you're putting on there, but believe me, it's not. It's going to help you. Then we're going to come across to 2 inches on this piece of paper. Make sure it's tucked up right alongside so it's not crooked. And we're going to cut 2-inch squares. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want 6 of them. So we'll cut them first. 1, 2, and that's what I love about the Stampin' Up cutter is you can cut up and down because you've got a blade either side. 3, 4, 5, and the last one is right size. So let's put these together and start looking from the top. Okay, this is the reverse side. And this has got a 1C, 2 by 2, and it's got a star on it, which means you're using the reverse side, which is the stripe side. Oh, no, which is the flower side on this one. Okay, we better get that right. Let me just go through my little ones again over here. The stripes is actually the, this one's got to be the flower because this is the back. Okay, so your 1AA 4 by 4 is the flower on the back, and then your 1BB is the stripes. I'm glad I saw that. And then your 1Y is also the stripes. Okay, that's better. Now our next one here is 1J, and it's the back, which is the flowers this time, and this is your 2 by 2 inches. The flowers is the back. very thick, beautiful paper, this one. And then you've got 10, and it's a star, so it's the back again, 2 by 2. That's the flowers. And then you've got 1S. It's also the back, 2 by 2, which is the flowers. We will go over a little bit, probably longer than half an hour. And we've got 1U, and this is also the flowers. So put your little star on there, 2 by 2. And then down the bottom is 1D, 2 by 2, and it's the stripe side, which is the right side, which is going that way. Okay, so that's that lot cut out. And then we're going to come across on our piece of paper again, and we're going to cut it at 2 3/4. So we're going to line it up at 2 3/4, which is you've got your 2 1/2, and then the next big one before the 3 is the 3/4. Okay, so line it up at 2 3/4. Cut that down, and you're going to turn it around and do 4 inches. And then another one at 4 inches. Okay, so you've got your 2 of them, so grab those Post-it notes again. Okay, up here. And we're going to use 2B is the back, which is the flowers, and this is 2 3/4 by 4. So this is the flower side up on this one. And then on the next one is 2C, 2 3/4 by 4, and it's the stripe side. It's the right side. It's got no asterisk on it. Okay, so that's this one. Then we've got another little strip that's a 1/2 inch. Now this is interesting. When you get to the 1/2 inch and you don't want your paper hanging off the edge trying to get 1/2 inch this way. This is where this side of the paper trimmer comes in really handy. And you've got 1/2 inch that you can line this up on, and it's nice and flat to cut, and you're not hanging off or curving it up. So this is at 1/2 inch by 6 1/2. So we're going to go up to that 6, and don't forget the halves just over on that other part of the ruler. So we're going to do that. We're going to bring this piece over here, and I'm just going to check to see what this one is, and it's on the stripe side. So this is a 2G. So I'm just going to write on here 2G, because we're going to be this because it's so narrow. And then we're going to cut another one at 1/2. So line it up at the 1/2 again. Make sure that it's sitting nicely on the 1/2. And I keep looking at the centimetres, and I know I've got to look at the inches. Okay, and then we're going to cut this one off at 6 1/2 also. So it's over on that other little part of the ruler. This one can go over there. And this one is also the stripe side, but it's 2I. So I'm just going to put 2I up the top there. Okay. Then we've got this last little piece, which is nearly 2 inches. It's just a little bit. So we're just going to trim that off, that little bit off. And then we're going to turn it around and do 3 2x2s. 2, 2, and 2. Okay, another piece for a card. And we're going to be doing them all on the stripe side this time. The stripe side is going to be facing up. So this is 1E, 2x2. This is 1F, 2x2. And this one is 1Q, 2x2. Okay, so we've got E, F, and Q. So that is the second cutting pattern. I'm going to bring, okay, that's my second cutting pattern. So I'm going to pop that on there. Pop those blender brushes down there for a minute. Okay, so now we're going to turn over, and we haven't got a lot to cut on this side, but let's do it anyhow. Okay, so we have got the stripes again that are going across horizontal. Okay, so we want them horizontal, and we're going to cut this off at 3.5 by 8 4/4. So we're going to start off with the 3.5. So we're going to cut it off at 3.5. Our second piece we want to cut off also at 3.5. So we're going to bring that to the 3.5 as well. Now this piece is put aside for a card. This piece is the second piece, which is 6.5. So we're going to come to 6.5. Cut that off at 6.5 inches. So we're going to write on this one. So this is 3K, and this is 3.5 by 6.5. Now, if you're following me along, you could be choosing out some, and this is an asterisk, so this is on the flower side. You could be following along with different paper and be cutting up the measurements, so you can use this measurements and design for other papers that you may have in your collection. So this is 3.5, and we're going to turn it around to cut at 8 1/4. So that's 8, and then the next big one, which is 1/4. Another piece for a card. So on this one is also a little star asterisk thing there. So this one's 3E, and this is 3.5 by 8 1/4. So this one also has got the flower pattern facing up. Okay, now we're moving on to our next paper, which is the gingham, or it looks like a gingham, but it's also like a crosshatch. Okay, and then on this side it's got like swirls going down. This is the back, and this is what they class as the front. Okay, so we're going to be using this part for both pieces. So we're going to start off at 6 inches. So we're going to cut that at 6 inches. And then we're going to turn it around and cut it at 9 1/4. So it's the 9, and then you've got the next big one, which is your 1/4. 9 1/4. This is the side it's going to be on, and it's 3B, okay, and 6 by 9 1/4. Whoop, just want one piece. Been a bit tricky. Okay, pop that over there. That piece can be for a piece of card. Now this one is also 6. So when you measure it, it will be already 6, as you can see, and you flip it around to 7.5. So it's 7, and it's not the next, when you got the 7, it's not the next one, it's the bigger one again, which is your half. Okay, this piece can go for a card, and this piece can go for 3H, 6 by 7.5. And it's this side as well. Okay, now we're coming down to our piece of paper, the other sheet of this piece of paper. Now this is 3.5, so we're going to start off at 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches. We're going to cut that, and then we're going to turn it to 11. So turn it around to 11. And we're going to trim that little bit off. We're going to make some cards up with these little bits. And this is going to have strict, so we're going to be using the back side of this one. Okay, and this one is 3C, and it's 3.5 by 11. Now, these are inches. So, like I said, if you've got some beautiful designer series paper there that you want to make up, you can always follow me along, cutting it out, but working out your papers. So you can sort of see on the instructions, you've got a couple of sheets of each piece. Okay, so now this one is 3.5 again. So we're going to line this up at 3.5. Now you can put this vertical or horizontal, whichever way you want this whirly bit to go. That's your choice. Okay, that can go over here for a card, and this piece is going to be cut off at 8.5. Okay, so we're going to cut this piece off at 8.5. That's a card, and we're going to run on this piece. So it's 3, 1. Or 3I. It's got a hash strict, so we're using the pink side, 3.5 by 8.5. Like I said, we'll go up, just go over our half hour. Sorry about that, girls. But I wanted to do it slow for you, not too fast. Now this one, it's got to be this way because on this side it's white. Okay, so you need to think about where you're going to cut it first. Okay, so we're going to cut it at the 6, or are we going to cut it at the 10.25? So I think we're going to cut 6 first because we want to get 2 pieces out of this. So we're going to cut the 6 first, and then we're going to turn it around and cut 10.25. So line it up at 10, and then it's the next sort of big one, not the half one, it's the next one before that, the one before that. So we're using this side, and this is 3D, and 6 by 10.25. Okay, so that goes on there, and then we've got this piece, which is 4 3/4, so it's the next big one under the 5 inches. That's your 3/4 mark. So 4 3/4. Cut that off. That can go for a card. And then we're going to do at 10.25. So 10, and then the next sort of semi-big one. Okay, so this one is 3J, and it's 4 3/4 by 10.25. and it's this flower side up because the other side is white. So we'll put that over there. We're just going to flip over to do our last page. Flip over to do our last couple of pages here. Not much on these. So this one is 2 by 2, so we need to go 2 inches. Make sure you've got it lined at the top and the bottom. You've got your rulers at both ends, and that's what I love. You've also got a ruler in the center here. And then come up and do 2. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I love about this is it makes it very simple to put it all together when we actually put our pages together. This one is a little bit left over. So grab your pen again and write these down. So you've got 1H, 2 by 2, 1H, and then you've got 1K, 2 by 2. And the good thing about it, if you're going to do these in other papers, you can keep your measurement stickers, sticky notes, and put them on your next lot as well. 1N, 2 by 2. So you can put them in an envelope and say the name of the design of the kit, and then you can sort of put your sticky notes in there and you've got them and you don't have to rewrite them. You can just find them. 1P, 2 by 2. So that's a great little gold nugget. When I had my scrapbook shop, I used to do that a lot because it just saved a lot of time and post-it notes. And 1V, 2 by 2. And because I wrote the inches on them as well, the measurements on them, I knew which ones were for what. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so that one we will put aside. Now we've got our willow white cardstock. We've got 2 lots of willow white cardstock, so let's grab them out. So they're towards the bottom here. Okay, we've got our 2 willow ones here. Now the first one needs to be cut 11 by 11. Okay, so you need to bring it over to the extension ruler, line it up at 11 inches, and then you're going to trim this little bit off. Okay, then you're going to turn it around and you're going to line it up at 11 again, and then you're going to cut this little bit off here as well. Now you've got to be careful with your white, okay, because it's so easy to mark. So we've got 1B, 11 by 11. So that's that piece. We'll put that over there as well. And then we've got our next white is 9 1/4 by 9 1/4. So we're going to line this up at 9 1/4. Keep these pieces for your cards. Don't throw them away. Oh, did I cut 2? Oh no. 9 1/4 by 9 1/4. I just had a bit of a panic attack. I thought I'd cut 2 pieces of card together, but I haven't. Okay, so that one is our next one, which is 1 by 9 1/4 by 9 1/4. That was a bit of a funny brain freeze there, Therese. Okay, then we've got our light and dark two-tone pool party. So let's grab that out. Our pool party. Do we need one sheet or two? We need both sheets, so I'm going to grab both of them out. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to flip one over so you can see. See how this is light on one side and dark on the other? So the light side, it will tell you the light side and the dark side. So we're going to cut this one at 4 1/4, 4, and then the one next big one, 4 1/4. And we're going to turn it around and cut it at 6 1/4. Now this is the tricky one. This is where your extension is on that ruler that it's hard to see. So because it's on the join, so but it's right near the join. So it's just before the join line. 6 1/4. So we'll write this one up. So this one is 3L, 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. Pop that on there. And then this piece is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, so we're going to cut it off at 3 1/4. And that can go for a piece for our card. So this one is 3M, 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. Now really this is going to save you a lot of time, especially if you want to make multiple layouts with different cardstock and different designer series paper. We're going to flip it over and do the last one. So the last one is cut at 5 1/4. Oh, the last one's done on another piece of sheet here. Okay, let's grab our other sheet. And it's 5 1/4, so let's do 5 1/4. And this is going to be 7 1/4, so 7 1/4. So we're going to write this one up is 3F, 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. Okay, then we're going to cut this one at 6 1/2, and 6 1/2 is just on the other side, and you're just going to be trimming off a tiny little piece. Okay, tiny little piece like that. And you're going to turn it around and do 6 1/2 again. So 6 1/2 by 6 1/2. Okay, so this one is 2H, and it's 6 1/2 by 6 1/2. These tiny little Post-it notes are the best, honestly. They really are. I need to get some more. I just realised I was running out of them. Then we're going to have this at 6 1/4. So if you want to, you can, it's just, you can sort of just see it on your 'paper trimmer. 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so that piece goes like that. And this is 1G, and it's 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, let me bring this up. Okay, everyone, we have cut all our pieces out, and I know sometimes it's a bit boring watching someone cut up their pieces, but what I wanted you to really understand is by writing out your measurements and sticking on the piece that you can choose designer series paper that you have in your stash and cut them up into the same. Okay, so let me just share with you this. So you can sort of see we've got 2 of each sheet, except for the bumblebee one. So you need 1 sheet, and then it shows you you've got 1 sheet, 2 sheets. So you just need to go through your designer series paper pack and pull out the paper that matches to make up your own. Now, the only thing that you won't get in it is the stickers, but we have got like the bee punch, and you can make up your own words and your own decorations to go with it. Or you might want to add flowers or something else. But we have got all our pieces cut up ready to go to put together. So I am excited to say that I will be back. I've got a hair appointment this afternoon, so I'm going to have some lunch, go and get my hair done, get rid of some of this grey. And probably come back on later this afternoon sometime. We'll see. I'll put a post up. Thank you. I'll put a post up to say we'll be back. Okay. Hi, Deborah. Good to see you come on. Lovely, Maureen, to see you stick with it. So that's lovely. And look, honestly, this is a really great, this is actually, let me just explain this one for you. This one is on the last chance product. It's normally $58, but it's now going out for $40.60. Why stocks last? Okay, why it's in the warehouse. So, and also you need your markers, and yeah, that's about it. So I will see you, I'm hoping this afternoon after I come back from the hairdressers. I have to be pampered a little bit, and I'll catch you then. God bless you all, and I'll see you all in part 2. Bye for now.